caught by Henry Taylor. That takes the ball into the 53-yard line with 3 minutes remaining in the first half. As Brian Williams said at the start of our telecast tonight, we'll hear about the Tom Clements, Jim Zorn situation in Winnipeg. Zorn signing a contract today with the Blue Bombers. We'll also hear about the Heart Fund game and the play of the month in the Canadian Football League. An exciting play it was, taking place at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. First and 10. At the 53, almost intercepted. Steve Harrison knocked it down.
You know, talking about Zorn signing with Winnipeg today. You know, watching him when he played with Seattle, he always reminded me of a quarterback that would be suited to the Canadian game. And, you know, I don't know if he's playing against Saskatchewan this week or not, but if he is, he learns very quickly.
He had some interesting comments when he arrived in Winnipeg. He said, my phone hadn't exactly been ringing off the hook since being released by Green Bay. DeWalt's in trouble. He's going to be sacked for a big loss. Jeff Roberts was the man who got a hand on the BC quarterback back at the 38-yard line. DeWalt was running for his life on that one. And again, going back to your comments at the start of our telecast, that's what the Ottawa Roughriders have to do tonight.
Well, they only came with 4 men, and that's those 4 guys that we showed you at the beginning. The 4 defensive linemen. Roberts gets a hand on him, and he's not going anywhere. Down he goes. Lloyd Lewis is there. There's 3 of the 4 in the picture right now. And, you know, when you can get pressure with 4, you get good coverage in the secondary, and they had good coverage in the secondary.
We got the cover, boys. We got the cover. Y'all get the flag.
Saglia stands at his own 26-yard line. Butts retreats to his own 23, looking for a couple of blocks. They don't materialize. And he is stopped at the 27 by Darryl Slater. That was a 47-yard punt by Lou Pasaglia. Jeff Roberts replacing the injured James Curry is doing a fine job at that defensive end position.
Well, Jeff Roberts did a good job for Saskatchewan when he was with them. He was involved in that multiplayer deal a year or so ago. He was a sacker for the Riders, and he just changes colors and goes to the red and black, and he's still a good defensive end. They've got a good defensive line.
2:11 is the time left in the first half. 16-10 the score. The Lions leading the Rough Riders. Burgess continues at quarterback. It's intercepted by Malvern. He'll score.
Unfortunate thing for Burgess. Watch as he throws the football. It'll be just a little behind him, and he'll tip it right into Bird's hands. Now, when you get a ball in the flat, this is going to be the result. He scores his first touchdown, throws the ball up in the stands. He had a sack, but no interceptions.
Florindo Grilli was the intended receiver. That ball deflected into the hands of Mel Bird, and he puts it in the end zone. Saglia adds the point after. I talked early in our telecast tonight about the BC Lions being a big play team. They've had 3 big plays tonight, and they have all resulted in touchdowns. 2 directly, 1 indirectly.
Well, you know, last year we talked about them being a big play team all year. This year, the big plays haven't been there. Now, I don't know if they've had them from Flash or something on defense, but offensively, their plays haven't been there. I don't know if that's because Fernandez being out or not, but, you know, he's back in there, and as you mentioned earlier, that's going to give that entire team a lift. And they want to get back to those big plays. It was successful for him before. Why change it?
Well, he's been the inspiration, of course, for the Lions. He's the hero. In tough situations, you go to your hero, and he puts on that Superman cape when they most often require him.
Well, that's why he is the hero. You know, every quarterback likes a guy that he knows when it's tough that you can depend on. And when he's covered one-on-one, if you throw it up high, how many times have we seen him in the last few years just out-jump a defensive back, and with the great strength in his arms, he gets hold of it, and it's his. A lot like Perry Tuttle did last week for Winnipeg. Great catches.
Outstanding job by Perry Tuttle in that losing effort against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Lester Brown on the return fights his way out to the 43-yard line, stopped there by Jamie Buise. 1:57 remaining, 23-10. The BC Lions in this first half leading Ottawa. Tom Burgess continues at quarterback. He took over replacing Todd Dillon, who was shaken up when he was sacked by Mike Gray and Walter Ballard.
Robert Reed, number 19. That's another one that came over from Saskatchewan in that trade when they got Jeff Roberts. He scored that other touchdown for him.
Caleb on the sidelines is stopped by Larry Crawford, taking the clock down to 1:56. Ottawa 2 games behind the pace of a year ago, and very important for the Ottawa Roughriders right now not to lose contact with the 2 teams atop the Eastern Division standings, Toronto and Hamilton.
No, not with the change in the format of the playoffs this year. Very important to stay close.
Burgess dumps it off, but they won't get the first down. Tyrone Cruz was there to make the tackle almost immediately on Brad Caleb.
Cover the receivers downfield, force them to throw to the short man, and have a linebacker in a position to make the tackle. That's exactly what the Lions did. 1:36. Clark will get a good punt away.
Now again, Burgess with Sandusky back, lines up behind the center, then drops off into a blocking back position.
BC didn't even put their punt return team in.
Direct snap again. Burgess throws, incomplete. He was looking for Caleb over the middle.
He can look for whatever he wants. I think it's Hudson, but when that ball's thrown in there, and Tyrone Cruz really put a hit on him. They didn't put their punt return team on. They stayed with their defensive unit on the punt just to take care of that fake punt to Burgess that they like to throw. And he looked to his right. Watch him throw it back across the middle. The outside's covered. He comes inside to Hudson. Watch the hit by number 91. Bang, just as the ball arrives. Take no chances. Let him kick it. Crawford's going to drop back there and get it, but that's a smart move. Keep the defense on the field.
So with 1:21 remaining and the ball at the 49, the BC Lions have an excellent opportunity to add to their lead. Key Van Jenkins catches the ball and is hit almost at the same time by Trey Songi. 2 of the individual standouts tonight. James Parker, who has played well, and Tyrone Cruz.
We had a good example there of the Walt's arm strength. He was being grabbed, and he threw the football flat-footed and still got it to the sidelines.
2nd and 1. DeWalt keeps the quarterback sneak, and he fights his way into the 29 for a first down.
The Ottawa Roughriders may regret that 3rd down gamble with a minute left in the half. If they punt the ball down the field deep, the Lions have a long way to go. But right now, with looking up there, still in the 50, 55 seconds left. You know how fast they can score.
Well, they were within 6. And then the interception made it a 23-10 game. And now with that screen to Mervyn Fernandez, it could go even higher as Fernandez is brought down. There's a penalty flag on the far side of the field.
You can hear Matthews over there saying it was caught behind the line. They're going to call an illegal block.
Don Matthews protesting to no avail.
Never does. No reason. Once that flag's down, that call's going to be made.
Illegal block. BC number 27. First down repeated.
Jan Carinci guilty of the illegal block.
Watch the call. Good call. He hit him right in the back. Excellent call.
First and 20, back at the 39 with 39 seconds remaining in this half. Draw play, Kevan Jenkins. He is stopped at the 32 by Steve Harrison.
Not a bad call. They got back just about the 10 yards they lost. Jenkins on the draws, got the ball right in the middle of the field. If they have to try to kick the field goal, still got second down. I think the Wall will take a shot at it. See if he goes to the end zone with it.
Would he go to the end zone to Merv Fernandez from this shotgun formation? Now he's going to the other side for Pancratz. It's intercepted by Craig Songy. And just 11 seconds remain as Songy gets it back to the 19-yard line.
Ball was a little bit underthrown. He'd had to throw that ball about another 10 to 15 yards, which would have been an awful long throw. Songy had good position to step in front and get it. Watch, he's in front. He's got the good position on him. That ball had to be thrown almost back to that corner back there, all the way to the end zone line, if he was going to expect the BC receiver to get it. Just a little bit underthrown.
Well, it looked as though the Ottawa Rough Riders had gambled and lost on third down. Now the interception by Songy prevents the BC Lions from adding to their 23-10 lead. 11 seconds remain in the half, and the Ottawa Rough Riders are going to be quite content to go to the dressing room trailing by 13.
I think it's a good move, you know. 8 seconds left. You're deep in your own zone. Don't mess around with it. As you say, they were lucky to come out of that without some more points being scored. So don't force the issue now. Let's go to the dressing room, talk it over, and go after him in the last 30 minutes.
This time, Burgess will have no problems in running the remaining seconds off the clock. As he drops to one knee, that is the end of the first half. The BC Lions leading the Ottawa Rough Riders 23-10. Now, let's go to CFL Control and Brian Williams.
All right, thank you, Don. Busy halftime coming up. We'll show you the injury to Tom Clements. We'll hear from the new Winnipeg quarterback, Jim Zorn. We'll tell you about Heart Fund games in the CFL. We'll show you the play of the month, the stars of the week. We have first half analysis, CompuStats, national and regional news, plus updates from other sports. Stay with us. Our halftime show is up next as the CFL and CBC continue.
Jim Mills has moved in at the right tackle position. Richmond, BC native, 6'8", 280 pounds, went to the University of Hawaii, signed in the NFL with Baltimore and then Indianapolis, has rejoined the BC Lions, and they are hoping that he will make a contribution at that offensive tackle position. With his size and with his experience, he definitely should.
Well, you see what Coach Matthews said. We referred to it earlier. Coming off the break, healthy and very deep. And when you have a guy with Jim Mills' ability, most teams would have him starting tonight, but because of Brian Illerbrun and John Blaine, he's going to mix it up and split a little bit and play both sides of the football, both tackles, and then they're going to have to evaluate down the road. But that is depth.
Sandusky taking that Roy DeWalt pass for a first down. Jan Carinci will have another first down, and there are penalty flags all over the field. Face mask violation against the Ottawa Rough Riders will improve the Lions' field position.
A lot of time. Watch Roy. He looks to his right. He looks to his left. He had all day to throw it. What I like is Carinci didn't move his feet. He just reached up and grabbed the football in his feet, in his hands, and had those feet ready to take off downfield. He didn't jump for it.
Ottawa number 36.
Craig Songy guilty of that face mask violation. First and 10 for the Lions. They are at the 33 of Ottawa. 10 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Pass is complete for John Pancratz. He continues fighting to the 7-yard line.
Good effort. Wide open on the catch. Then showed excellent ability with his running style. Good move. Look how wide open he is. Now watching Siegler. Siegler misses him. Taking a shot. Kevan Jenkins tries to come up and help him, but he gets it down inside the 10 to about the 6.
First and goal for the Lions. DeWalt trying to drill it into the end zone to Merv Fernandez, hit Rick Sovieta.
He threw it hard. That's the only thing that saved him, because he threw it right in his arms. To throw it that hard, it's very difficult for anybody to catch. Sovieta just happened to be there, and he found out one thing: you can't throw it through him.
Second and goal from the 7. Fernandez goes wide to the left. Sandusky out to the right. Ball rolls left. Looks back to the left side. Incomplete. A collision in the end zone. Hall and Jan Carinci.
That's one of those plays when the receiver comes back, tells the quarterback he owes him one, because he led him right into that hit. Darrell Hall really put it on Carinci.
So it's third and goal from the 7-yard line. Lou Bisaglia should almost be automatic on this one. 14 yards out. And he puts it through. So with 8:43 remaining in the third quarter, the BC Lions increase their lead to 16 points. The Lions preparing to kick off following that 14-yard field goal by Lou Bisaglia. Greg Vavra assigned the task of kicking off for the BC Lions. Vavra, of course, came into the CFL from the University of Calgary with the Stampeders, then went to the training camp of the Edmonton Eskimos, and was picked up after the season started by the BC Lions. Bouncing ball that Alizetti returns to the 42-yard line.
You saw Greg Vavra smiling just before he kicked off yesterday at the press conference. That was a topic of discussion, too. Who was going to do the kickoffs for the BC Lions? And Coach Matthews says that right then nobody had volunteered because everybody that had done it had been injured. And he said Vavra wasn't sure he wanted to do it. I don't know whether he was smiling because he didn't want to do it or is he crazy.
How much influence do you think Steve Barrato, the former head coach of the Stampeders, had in adding Greg Vavra to the roster?
A lot. He had an awful lot of influence on that because Steve likes him because he's a student of the game.
Burgess throwing deep, looking for Caleb. Oh, he couldn't hang on.
Well, not much you can say about it. He had a step on him. Bird didn't see the ball, and it goes right through Caleb's arms. He should have it and be off to the races. And, you know, sometimes when things are going bad, that's what happens. Drop pass here, an interception there, and something like that, and you never know. They could be ahead, but it's the way it goes. It's a tough grind back when you're 2-7. And then Joe Moss knows better than anybody.
Mark Lewis lines up wide right this time. Reggie butts to the left. Burgess was hit in the act of throwing by James Parker.
You know, there are some people in the CFL, some reporters that I've talked to in some of the cities I've gone to, that feel that James Parker may be the most outstanding player in the league, not just defensively, but he's having that type of season, and that's one of the reasons you saw right there. He's always around the ball.
Parker is also wearing that protective plastic shield under his face mask. That was the result of a finger he got in the eye in the first game of the season back in June against Winnipeg. This third down kick caught Slater a little flat-footed, bounced away from him, and then he picked it up and managed to get out of bounds at the 17-yard line. After being burned on that third down pass in the second quarter, the Lions aren't about to let that happen again.
Now they're going to force them to kick the football. They're going to play defense on third down. Watch the block coming up by Larry Crawford on Mark Lewis. Crawford comes back. Bang. Good shot. Didn't get the return that the BC Lions normally get. But, you know, you can't afford to take a chance on third down if they're not going to kick the ball.
The Lions Clemens are back at their own 17-yard line. First and 10. 7:24 remaining in this third quarter. The screen to Sandusky. Sandusky breaks a couple of tackles and is stopped about 2 yards short of the first down by Dennis Clay. Coming out of the Ottawa dressing room and returning to the bench is the injured Nick Benjamin. He suffered ligament damage to that right knee in the first quarter, and it looks as though he could be out for a spell.
Yeah, you know, when you see a guy on crutches in the knee, you know he's not going to be out just 1 week. He's going to be finished for a while. Just hope it isn't bad enough for surgery.
The wall looking for Fernandez. He overthrew him.
Lovell was step for step with him, and the free safety Chris Ziegler came over to help him. Parker looks like he really enjoys himself, doesn't he, during a football game?
He has a lot of fun during the course of the game.
He said hi to Miss Martin and hi to Randy.
Okay.
But Nelson.
He can do anything he wants to do.
He's up for the vibes.
He's passing on messages on behalf of his teammates. 6:30 remaining in this third quarter. From the shotgun. Second down. Pass to P. Van Jenkins trying to get outside. He's prevented from doing so by Craig Songi. There's also a penalty flag on the play.
It's third down.
I've got a feeling this will probably be an illegal block, which they will probably refuse.
The indication from Jake Ireland that it will be third down.
There's no infraction. Third down.
Referee dropped the tank.
Dropped an error apparently, so it will be third down. Lou Pasaglia stands back at his own 13-yard line. He was injured in a preseason game against Saskatchewan. Reggie Butts on this punt return, and he got back to the 42-yard line, but no further as Marta Palizzetti came in to throw a block, but they couldn't move it any further with 5:53 left in the third. About the number of star players who are out with injuries, two of them right there. Darnell Clash, who was finished for the year. Hopefully Nick Benjamin on the left won't be lost for the season. But James Curry, who led the Ottawa Rough Riders in sacks, is out for the year. With the BC Lions, Fernandez has been on the 60-day list. Pasaglia was out. Bernie Ruoff is finished for the year. So is Tom Clements of Winnipeg. Willard Reeves has been out. Trevor Kennard has been out. A lot of the big stars in the CFL have been on that injured list this year. Trevor Jones of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, another.
Well, you know, injuries are a factor in the game, but boy, this year it just seems like there's been an awful lot of the guys that we referred to earlier as the gunners or the superstars for their particular teams that are missing. And, you know, in the CFL, it's durability and flexibility and things like that, and injuries always become a factor in the outcome of a team's year. And, boy, you know, with Clements out, things like that, that puts a big damper on their playing.
It's 2nd and 10 for the Rough Riders. Reading the screen perfectly was Kevin Konar. He made the tackle just as soon as the ball arrived.
You saw Dylan walking off the field just kind of looking up in the air. There really isn't a whole lot he can do about that. Watch him. Tries to set the screen up just as the ball arrives. Doesn't matter how many linemen you have there to block for you when that happens, because they can't block it.
A loss of one actually on the play. Partially blocked. The third down kick. Partially blocked, I believe, by Rick Klassen, and there's a penalty flag on the play as well.
Well, we said they keep that defensive team on the field. They have no punt returner in the game, and Klassen went right through, got his hands on it, and they will get a no yards penalty, because if the ball crosses the line, you still have to give yards. Watch number 90. He'll just get that hands up there. He got part of it. And now when the ball hits the ground, the white jerseys are down there too fast.
That brings it out to the 52.
No yard. Ottawa number 23. First down.
Well, that time when the Rough Riders lined up in punt formation, Burgess remained behind the center. The ball was snapped between his legs to punter Ken Clark.
They're going to drive me nuts with that thing. Of course, that's not hard to do, is it?
Draw play. Ball is fumbled out of the arms of Kevan Jenkins, and Rick Sovieta came up with it.
Almost a heck of an offensive play. A lot of times when you got a blitzer coming up the middle, watch how fast Kevan Jenkins will go up the middle with this. He comes up through there, and all of a sudden, he doesn't have the football anymore.